Okay. Oh, I see it now. I see it. I'm about to play it now. I haven't heard it, but I'm going to play it now. But thank you for the call, brother.
Well,
okay, let me play this video that our brother Afro Elite played of AOC. She's explaining. Let's hear this. Let's see what she has to say. Hold on.
The comments that were made were simply and are simply incompatible with holding elected office. It violates the public trust. Just point blank, period. That's the beginning of it. That's the end of it. But I do want to dig a little bit deeper into the psychology of that, because it's also just as bad, if not worse. In corrupt, racist, classist environment, systems, political situations.
Okay. Environment. Okay. Here she go already. Racist, classist, environment. Okay, here she goes already. This ain't got nothing to do with no damn environment. This is, and she's the AOC is the worst. She's already pissing me off. Hold on.
Also, just as bad, if not worse. In corrupt, racist, classist environment, systems, political situations, people in power rely on pitting communities against each other, whether it's racially, geographically, whatever. They rely on pitting, trying to get Black communities and Latino communities and Asian communities and Native communities seen as each other's enemies, white communities, rural, urban, all of it.
Well, that's you guys do that. Nobody makes you do that. Most of these people she named, they choose to have anti-Black sentiments. It's not pitted against each other. It's you guys attacking us. Let's stop them reframing the narrative. It is not us being pitted against you. We have to defend ourselves from your damn anti-Black racism. All of these different groups harbor anti-Black racism. And it's one-sided. We don't have racism towards Latinos like that. We don't have racism towards Asians because we're their economic base. We're the ones who fund you when you get here. We don't have systematic racism against these groups. They come over and practice systematic racism against Black people. It is not some type of equal animosity. We have to defend ourselves from their racism. This is how we have to frame it, and which is the truth, and not let these people reframe the narrative. Hold on.
And Native communities seen as each other's enemies, white communities, rural, urban, all of it. And leaders who fall for that are not equipped to lead. And frankly, this scarcity mentality that we need to pit or be suspicious of other ethnic groups or of other types of interest groups, geography, this, that, and the other, comes from the top. It comes from a vested
it's the white people who made us do it. It's the white elitists who made us do it. It's coming from you. It's coming from you wanting to be like the people on the top. Black family, don't let them run that game. When some of these quote unquote people of color get caught in the hot seat with their damn anti-Black racism, they always use the white man made me do it. It's the Anglo-white people who are pitting us together against each other. They're pitting us. They're making us hate each other. It is the white man who is the enemy. No. You want to be the white man and the white woman. You, in your mind, want to be that. You're not fighting against white supremacy. Family, that's the long and short of it. These folks aren't fighting white supremacy. If they are, where are they doing it? And listen to the language. She ain't talking about punishing the people spewing this anti-Black racism. Because listen, when they're spewing anti-Asian racism, anything against Asian people, it's hate crimes. We need a hate crime bill. It goes to punishment. We need to punish anybody harming these Asians to the fullest extent of the law. We need to allocate money to Asian people to remedy this. When it's us at the brunt of the racism, well, we got to understand it's some shadowy Anglo-white people at the top. They're the real enemy. Oh, stop it. Oh, stop.
This, that, and the other comes from the top. It comes from a vested classist interest, racist interest, etc. Because the more you can stoke like just whatever fighting amongst ourselves is less time that we're building solidarity with one another. And we need to be able to trust each other. And if we don't have that trust, we're not going to be able to build together. That's really so much at the core.
Build what together? We're not building anything together. You're building stuff off of us, but what are we building together? We've had a gazillion years to build together. What are we building together? You're building stuff off of our backs. What are we building together?
What this is about. But we've seen what the outcome of those things are. Old school political machines like from the 90s and plenty of other decades. And you know what it also yields? A lot of corruption. Because when all you care about or any other decision on such a superficial zero-sum mentality, that is dangerous. And that is what people in power rely on in order to make sure that nothing changes, pretty much. And
boy, she's babbling right now, man. This is babble, guys. This is babbling and splaining. She's just saying nothing.
This isn't about just like talking about LA. We experienced this in New York, you know, especially when you look at New York political machines in the 90s.
Oh, God, this is the splainingest ass woman ever. That's splaining. Splaining ain't it either. Again, when some other group is aggrieved, you start immediately talking about how to remedy it with laws, bills, and money. When we are being aggrieved, and this woman, remember, these people were sitting up here talking about harming a black child. Nothing is more vile than that. And now all of these people are splaining, pointing the finger at the shadowy elite. It's some elite that's on the top who's pitting us against each other. We're all in this together. It is this corruption from the 90s. What are you talking about? This woman, AOC, goes home to a zaddy. All right. Just remember, she goes home to a zaddy. These people are not on our side, man. And that's okay, black people. I want black people to have a better self-esteem, to understand we don't need these janky ass groups sitting around here undermining us and then splaining and deflecting when they undermine us because they're dangling some mythological coalition that they don't want in front of us. Why are y'all so gung-ho about this mythological coalition? It doesn't exist, man. That's just what it is. The only thing they really give you as far as a coalition is sexual access. That's it. It ain't even worth it. We all we got and we're all we need, black family. These people have displaced us in so many areas while we're sitting here talking about a damn minority coalition. If you look at places around places in some of the big cities, you go down to South Central LA right now, mostly Hispanic down there. They're pushing black folks all the way out there to Lancaster, Riverside, San Bernardino, Moreno Valley. You understand? Even in New York, in these cities where there's a large influx of some of the Latino community. Look at New York, man. You had areas in New York that were predominantly black, that black people were repeatedly displaced from. We know about Seneca Village. There was a place where Greenwich Village that was called Little Africa at one point. A lot of folks don't know that. In Greenwich Village, New York, there was a section called Little Africa that was predominantly black. Black people got pushed out. Early 1900s, you had a black area called San Juan Hill. I think it was San Juan Hill. Where are my New Yorkers? It was a place in New York. It's over there by Lincoln Square now. Where Lincoln Square is, that used to be an all-black area. called San Juan Hill. And they called it San Juan Hill because you had a lot of veterans who were fighting over there in Cuba for the American Army. So they came over, and those veterans lived in that area. So they called it San Juan Hill, based on the fighters who were over there fighting in Cuba for the U.S. government. It was a pretty thriving area. And then they pushed all of those black folks out and start putting the Puerto Ricans in that area. They start pushing the black people towards Harlem and brought all the Puerto Ricans over there to San Juan Hill, displacing them. So we have to understand the displacement game is real, and we're always at the brunt of it. We always get the ass end of these displacements. This coalition just doesn't exist, man. When has this coalition worked to benefit us? I can point to how it has benefited other groups. Family, black family, let's just ask questions here. When has a minority coalition benefited foundational black Americans? Just ask questions, man, and you'll get the answer. When has a minority coalition benefited us? It has benefited everybody else except us. So we have to start being unafraid to say we're going to look out for black people. We're going to look out for our own folks. We're going to look out for foundational black Americans. Please stop being afraid and ashamed to say that. Self-preservation is the first law of nature. You're supposed to look out for your group. You understand? We got this weird slave mentality that we're supposed to be obligated to elevate these other groups to our own detriment. No, you're not. We got to look out for ourselves, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get the self-esteem up. You all you got, and you've been carrying the heavy load anyway. Nobody's been helping you. You've been doing all the work yourself. It's just like an employee who works for somebody's business, and you do everything to build that person's business up. And you could use those skills to go work for yourself, but you choose to sit here and make the next person rich. We do that with white people all the time. We do that with them all the time. You sit there and you're doing all the work, making these people wealthy. You're the invaluable resource that they can't do anything without you. But you sit here, oh, master need me now. I got my master need my expertise. When you can go out and do the exact same thing for yourself and get that same wealth, get the same resources. But a lot of people, you don't have confidence. A lot of us don't have confidence in ourselves. You think we got to have a white daddy somewhere or a white Hispanic daddy somewhere holding our hand if we're going to get anything done. We got to get off that mentality because, see, the visuals are very important. See, they want us to believe that a black person can only be successful if they're engaging in debauchery or ratchetness. This is why when you look at television and you see rappers, they show rappers doing degenerate nonsense and they give them a lot of money to do degenerate nonsense. You see, they want you to believe in order for you to make a buck, in order for you to be successful, you have to be a damn degenerate. But they don't want to promote black people who are self-sufficient. When you're a black person who's self-sufficient, they don't like to promote that because that gives other black people ideas. And they damn sure don't want to show a black person who's a conscious black person who is quote unquote woke, who fights against white supremacy and has a certain level of success. Why do you think they attack me so much? Because the visuals are bad. They don't want, I'm a successful black person, relatively successful. I could be a billionaire with all of the skills that I have, but they don't want to show a young kid, a person like me who's relatively successful, who goes against white supremacy, hard body, and I'm successful. Relatively. I say relatively because I'm still under the system of white supremacy. They don't want to show that. That's a bad visual to show a kid because that gives them ideas that, hey, I can be successful and this person is speaking the truth. No. They don't want to show that. They want to show you black men with BBLs twerking, driving around in Rolls Royces and in videos throwing money. That's what they want to show. They want you to see success as you doing something degenerate. You see, But a black person who's running legitimate businesses, self-sufficient, and speaking against oppression, well, that person is nefarious. Oh, that person must have gotten the money through ill-gotten gains. He must have done something scandalous. You see? Look at how they throw their minions out there to spread misinformation because they want to show a person who goes against white supremacy and is relatively successful. They have to show that person being attacked constantly to deter other black people from wanting to be in a position like that. Visuals are everything. The white supremacists understand visuals. And some black people get afraid. They say, hey, look, if I'm a conscious black person, if I'm a woke black person, if I'm a black person who challenges white supremacy, even if I get some level of success, the white folks are going to get me. They're going to get you anyway. So let me just go over here and do something ratchet. Let me tell you something. They're going to get the ratchet black person first. Look, whenever they do these race soldier killings, whenever you see black folks get killed by race soldiers, they're not really getting conscious black people. Usually they get black people and they go in neighborhoods where a lot of people don't have a certain level of consciousness to a certain degree. They know who to attack and they know who to egg on. You understand what I'm saying? When they go out here and ambush black people, see, they know how to instigate it. They go out here and create a situation where the black person is going to be emotional and hostile, which is what they want. They want to egg that black person on and poke at them until they get hostile, so the black person will react in an angry manner, and that gives them justification to attack them. For example, they'll get a black person, pull them over and kind of feel them out, make a false accusation against them. Hey, sir, I pulled you over. I smell weed in your car. Like, wait, hold on, man. I ain't smoking no weed. The hell you mean? I ain't got no weed in here. Y'all ain't about to be. And the cops are like, got this nigga. Got him. Turn your cameras off. We got us one. He's ignorant. He don't know how this works. So they let him get out here and rant and rave and get all emotional and talk about what he ain't gonna do. I ain't about to get out the car because I ain't do nothing. Then they pull the guns out and blow his brains out. Well, sir, your honor, this guy was hostile. He was threatening. He was yelling at us. We feared for our lives because of his hostility, and all we were doing was questioning him. And then he got hostile. You see, that's somebody who didn't know the game. A person who knows the game knows how to play it. Like when the cops run up here making false accusations, you stay calm because you already know what the business is. You stay calm and you stay cool. You don't let them egg you on to escalate the situation. That's what they want to do. They want to escalate the situation so that you can jump bad out there. A person who understands the game knows not to fall for that tactic. You remain calm and cool at all times. You cooperate with them because you understand if they pull you over, you are already at a disadvantage. You do not have some secret army. You do not have any bargaining chips at that moment. You are a prisoner of war at the moment. Neely Fuller taught us this. I see these videos all the time, especially on the East Coast. These dudes get caught up by the police and they start telling the police what they ain't gonna do. You ain't gonna touch me. You ain't gonna do nothing to me. Like, as if you got some secret army that's gonna help you out and you don't. You're already at a disadvantage. And then the cops start hemming these niggas up and it is what it is. See, we got to be realistic about our situation and understand warfare. You got to understand how warfare works. You talking shit is not warfare. Talking crap while you're behind enemy lines is not warfare. See, we got to understand how to deal in a war situation because a lot of folks don't understand that they are in a situation of war. These people are trained to go out here and instigate stuff against you. Family, there was a case in Louisville, and I just posted this up on my timeline. It was a white female cop. They gave her a misdemeanor that she could plead guilty to, so she's still getting a slap on the wrist. But during the protest of I think Breonna Taylor a couple of years ago, y'all remember these undercover cops were going around in these unmarked vehicles doing drive-by shootings, shooting people with non-lethal weapons. They were going out here instigating situations. They were doing that in Minnesota. They were jumping out, shooting people from unmarked cars, and then when black people returned fire, they would arrest the black people and then try to charge them with attempted murder. There was one brother in Minnesota who actually got off. Shout out to him. But this white woman was going around Louisville shooting black people with pepper bullets. And nobody knew it was a cop doing this. So she went to this barbecue joint. A black man owned a barbecue joint. She goes up here shooting these pepper pellets at black folks. Shot at the owner. He didn't know who was shooting, so he started returning fire. Then all of a sudden, the National Guard shows up and kills him. And they gave her a little misdemeanor charge of aggravated assault, some little jive ass charge. But this is what's going on out here, man. These folks are sitting here. These are race soldier Gestapo units going out here instigating certain situations. Just like with Kyle Rittenhouse. Kyle Rittenhouse, remember, he was working with the police. They sent him out there to instigate situations so that somebody could retaliate, and then he would be justified in shooting him, and that's what happened. They wanted to get black people. See, with the Kyle Rittenhouse thing, he wanted to instigate an altercation with black people, but there were some woke black people who saw it for what it was. Remember, we posted the videos of Kyle Rittenhouse out there approaching black people, and the black people were like, "Hey, man, you ain't no medic. You were pointing a gun at us a few minutes ago, man, telling us to get out the car and whatever. Man, get your ass up out of here, man. We ain't rocking with you. We ain't falling for your trap." Kyle Rittenhouse was trying to coax these black dudes to go around the corner with him by saying that he's a medic and he's going to give them some medical care. And he was trying to coax people. And they were like, no. They were like, no, we ain't going for that. We're not going for that. Okay, I'm getting a lot of text messages. Dr. Short, chill out on the text messages for a minute because I'm live still and it's messing up the live, brother. I'm getting your text messages, Dr. Short. I can check those out afterwards because it messes up the live where people can't hear me. But back to Kyle Rittenhouse. Cal was trying to coax people into going around the corner with him, and they were like, "Nah, we ain't going for that." But some white boys fell for it. They were like, "Hey, you're a guy out here trying to instigate something." So they tried to chase him down to stop him, and they fell for the trap. You dig? They fell for the trap. So the point is, man, we got these people out here who would try to instigate certain situations with you while they're working with police, and they'll try to instigate ambushes. So this is why we have to understand warfare. The white supremacists, they're very cowardly, and they will orchestrate these type of cowardly ambushes on you. So it's very important to understand